Good Monday morning, everyone, and I'm back from vacation. Chris Allen here on the Sam channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Well, it was a great time away to get off the grid. I miss doing this, but it was just a wonderful time with my wife to celebrate 40 years together. And if you've seen the pictures, and that's not all of them. I didn't want to do a digital dump and just throw them all out there. I could have, but I put the highlights in there. I mean, the waterfalls through parts of Georgia and South Carolina. Then we went on up into North Carolina, a little bit of Virginia, around the Bristol area, and then back to Tennessee and into Kentucky for several days. And it was just relaxing. It was beautiful. Most of the weather was nice. We had a few showers here and there, but no big deal. We didn't care. It was just nice to kind of get off the grid a little bit, out of the routine a little, and just relax and feel refreshed and ready to go. And I'm ready to go. I'll be back on the radio this morning starting at 6 a.m. on Sam 100.7. Looking forward to that as well. Okay, so you guys had some pretty good rainfall while I was away. First couple of days, some strong storms, some flooding. It's like, okay, I'm out of town. Everybody's like, Chris, where are you? Where are you? I didn't care at that point. I was just like out somewhere else. And, it was good to kind of get away from that. But you guys made it through okay, and I knew you would. So now we're in this kind of pattern of very soggy air, very thick, humid air. And with all these little boundaries still sticking around, there's still some shower and thunderstorm activity around. We've had some come through this morning, but it is now just south of Bowling Green as of 4:15 a.m. as I'm recording this podcast a little early, just so I can get things done this morning before I go on the air at Sam. You can see the boundary just south of us, and those storms are riding that boundary. And anytime, like we saw yesterday, you're going to find, because of the richness of the air, we're going to find these rainy periods where there's nothing going on. It's just warm and humid. The sun comes out for a little bit, and then it just pours. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be thunder and lightning, but the rain just comes down in buckets. And that's the kind of soupy atmosphere that we have going for us. Still, that frontal boundary is just southwest of us. It's going to return north as a warm front by tomorrow, and it's going to keep these showers in the forecast, that cluster moving into Nashville right now. But there's more coming our direction too. So if you feel like you kind of missed out on showers this morning, give it a little more time. There's going to be more of that coming our direction as we go through the day. Here's a look at the 10-day blender. I know you missed this because it really does paint the picture of what's coming over the next several days as far as temperatures. And it also shows us when we're most likely to get a cold front and get some rain in here again, or when things begin to stall out, kind of like they are now. We're in that pattern where things don't want to move very much. So we're going to go low 80s again today. We hit 87. 87 was our high temperature Sunday, yesterday, in Bowling Green officially. 78 is where we should be. So, almost a 10-degree difference, as far as 9 degrees above average for this time of the year. And we picked up 15 hundredths of an inch of rain with a just really brief shower that even hit here at the house in Plano. It came down, it looked like it was a lot more than that, and it could have been, but at the airport, they measured 15 hundredths of an inch. So we'll get low to maybe mid 80s today, still that muggy air. Same thing for tomorrow. Then we see the passage of a cold front. Now, this front is the same one that's over us now that's stalled, that's going to return north as a warm front tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, a low pressure system is going to make that thing come on through as a cold front. So that's the first cold front that we're talking about. That's going to cool us into, if you can say cool, into the upper 70s to near 80 for Wednesday, Thursday. We get back into the low 80s on Friday, and here comes another front. This one will cool us down again for the weekend. As you see, temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, not much of a cool down. It's still going to stay rather warm and then back into the mid 80s by the middle of next week. Now, we will get a little bit of a break from the humidity during that time as that second cold front comes in, but it's not going to be much. Just get ready. We're into that time of the year when the muggies are going to be around just about any time. And they're certainly out there this morning with, as you see, those temperatures in the 60s and close to 70 degrees this morning with the Kentucky Mesonet Network. In fact, 69 here in Bowling Green. That's at the southernmost Mesonet site out at Western's Ag Expo Center. There is a 70 over in the far western part, Fulton County, Hickman, Kentucky, right on the very outskirts of Western Kentucky this morning. What about rainfall from yesterday? Let's take a look at that. Last 24 hours. Look at that. An inch and inch and 34 hundredths. That was Russellville. I remember yesterday morning when I got up, that was that early morning cell that came down from the north and west of Logan County and just dumped a bunch of rain there in the Russellville area. So an inch and a third, and then everybody else much less. It just depended on how these things have, flown by. Everything's coming out of the north and west and moving southeast. And you can see this is the line of showers that came through yesterday afternoon and late last night, producing about an inch of rain there in Hart County, in Munfordville, and over an inch there in Cumberland County in the Burkesville area. So some of you have gotten a lot of rain, others just not that much or barely anything. And that's the way these things are running. But the flow, the upper flow, directing and navigating all those showers, it's coming in from the northwest and pushing them southeast. That's the overall flow. And when we see showers developing northwest of us toward the Ohio River, you can just about count on many of those coming our direction as we go through the day. Let's go to the model map, and I can show you that as we, outline how these things are going to flow. We see scattered activity already this morning, and we've had some of that down around the Nashville area. And it's going to continue to be in that upper flow, which around the low pressure system, which is, it's not all that strong. It's at 10, 13 millibars, and you've got a high pressure behind it at 1029 millibars. So it's not like there's a whole lot of pressure difference, and we're not seeing a lot of wind with this because there's just not a lot of pressure difference or gradient between high to low pressure. But, when you get one of these wound up thunderstorms, then yeah, there's a possibility that you could get some brief gusty winds in any of those little dots you see on the map here. And a lot of them are located in Tennessee as this particular model, but throughout the day, and especially in the afternoon when we get a little bit of heating, that's when things start to really ramp up, as you can see around that low. And then the associated front that's just kind of laying there, that's going to be a trigger along with daytime heating to help fuel some of these thunderstorms. And there's lots of available moisture. So it's not going to take much to get these things going. And even though they may not be completely, put on the map here in Southern Kentucky, they'll be around. for sure. It's just the way the model map is parsing all of this out. But you've got a strong flow here out of the Pacific, strong flow out of the Gulf of Mexico, and there's your moisture. It's always a situation where we are due north of the Gulf of Mexico. And in this time of the year when there's high pressure off the coast, it's what it's naturally going to do with this clockwise flow is take moisture and try to shove it back in our direction. And then the Gulf of Mexico opens up and does the same thing. So that's why it's always muggy here during the late spring, summer, early fall. It's just that's the way it is. And that's why we sometimes have even severe weather because we're due north of the Gulf where there's plenty of moisture to work with. And so that's the case. We're going to continue to see rounds of showers and thunderstorms after dark. They kind of die down. We call those diurnal uh, convective storms, thunder, lightning, plenty of moisture to work with. But usually after dark, they fade away. Tomorrow, we'll have that cold front that is going to finally come through the area. And here you see a nice look at that line. Whew, that's a pretty good line of thunderstorms that's going to ride along that low pressure system. And it looks to be active more into tomorrow afternoon, especially along and east of Interstate 65. So, those of you that live along the Cumberland Parkway and the Cumberland Plateau region have a better chance of getting some stronger storms tomorrow. I really don't, at this point with these kind of storms, I really don't put a lot of emphasis on severe weather because these things are just very fast moving. They're out of here. And then things start to relax as we get into Wednesday. There you see, we get a break from the daily regime of showers and thunderstorms, and things do take a break until we get the next system in here toward looks like the weekend. All right, let's take a look at potential for rainfall out of this system. There could be, as we've seen, these periods of where the rain just comes down very hard in a very short amount of time. And this is going to be the case again, and especially as that cold front comes through tomorrow. There you see in the blues, maybe an inch and a half. I mean, some of you saw that yesterday. Very few, but some of you did. And it's a possibility again tomorrow, between now and tomorrow, to get any shower that comes by could produce an inch and a half, and there could be locally up to 2 inches of rain if you happen to be underneath one of those very heavy cells that just sits there and just produces a lot of rain in a short amount of time. So that's going to be the case. Next couple of days, surface map showing that frontal boundary that's kind of lazily parking right over us as a stalled front returns north as a warm front. Afternoon showers and thunderstorms that you see there. Ripples of low pressure, very weak ripples riding along the front. Still stationary as we get into late tonight. Early tomorrow morning is when it really becomes the warm front and just slowly moves across the area, dragging with it behind it a cold front. This is what's going to bring us the better chance. You see the dark green of some heavier rain and thunderstorms as we get into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. Wednesday, we get a break as kind of a backdoor front slides through. It's not really going to be a front that produces rain. It's just going to bring in somewhat drier air. It's going to feel a little better on Wednesday and Thursday until we get this next system coming in from the west. This is Friday. And here we go again with another passage of a front, and we get it just updated on me. There we go. We get another frontal passage, and into Saturday, this thing leaves. And really, the last half of the weekend doesn't look bad at all. Big sprawling high pressure takes over and we're looking pretty good. Okay, there we go. That's it for this morning. As I mentioned right from the beginning, I'm headed to Sam 100.7 to be back on the radio this morning from 6 to 10. I hope you'll join me for that. We got a lot of things coming up. Got the Christopher Cross concert. I've got tickets to give away to that. There's no telling what else I've got laying there just waiting for me. That's the only bad thing about vacation. It's like you're like, I'm on vacation. Off the grid, no phone calls, no texts, no emails. And then when you come back, it's like, it's almost like you have to pay for being on vacation because you took the time off. But then when you come back, it's like, oh, look at all this stuff I got to do. Oh, well, at least I got something to do. Keeps me out of trouble. No, it really doesn't. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Have a great day. And I will see you on the radio.